at the Triple Crown Slumpbuster on our live stage at the Council Bluffs Recreation Complex. Another representative from our invite-only in the 12-year-old division of the TCSB D1 Championship, Bruce Escavida with the Oklahoma Elite. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks for having me.
You had to get out of bed this morning, and I don't want to talk too much, but it was a loss, but it was a one-run loss. Was it 3-2?
Oh, yeah.
With Dallas Tigers, a great program, and Oklahoma Elite, a great program. You guys have had a great tradition of bringing teams that go toe-to-toe with the best. You never like to lose, but you do like 3-2 ball games at this age level.
You know, we've played 4 games here, and we tied one. We won one by a run. We lost one by a run. And really, the other one we played, we were saving pitching, so it wasn't an intentional loss, but it was certainly something we were conserving pitching on. So what we really like about this format is we come here and we know we're going to play the best teams. We're not going to waste time playing with teams that, you know, we're going to go 15-0 on.
Lopsided game.
And it forces our kids to focus. It forces them to play baseball. I mean, the reason we got behind today is, you know, we committed some errors in the field, and it's cost you at this level, you know. and so we couldn't catch up. But the Tigers are always a great, you know, we go down to Dallas quite a bit, and we end up, they have several teams, and we always have a tough battle with those guys. So.
Yeah, several teams is an understatement. That's a large program. And we were just talking about it. I said, you know, how many teams do you have in your program? Oklahoma Elite. You guys you have such your name in youth baseball. We were in Steamboat a couple of years ago. Your team made it all the way to the end of the Steamboat World Series.
We won Park City at 12.
Yeah.
Our older boys, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Park City championship. I think it was your 13-year-old year. We ended up seeing you up in Steamboat. But you are not. So the Dallas Tigers are sort of the epitome of a big program, or the Patriots, or those kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, you guys have put a really nice name out there, but you're not actually this multi-tiered.
We don't have a facility. We don't have a program. We're historically been a bunch of dads. Most of them have been ex-players at either Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. Their kids, they all started playing together probably 10 years ago, and then as their siblings have come along, and there's been various incarnations in any given age group. But the one you're talking about is the team that are now 15U right now. But through the years they won the Texas Oklahoma Shootout 4 times. They won in Park City. They won in Memphis, and that was a real treat. I got involved. My older boy got picked up by them last year, and I was able to play with them one year, and it was a real pleasure playing with all those kids. In fact, we had 9-10 kids, and every single kid got innings in varsity baseball as freshmen in Oklahoma this year. So.
Wow. That's not easy to do.
No, it's not easy to do. If one or two of them may have, you know, but every single one of them, and you know, the name, you know, Jay Sporfrin, Cam Usselton, you know, Dax Fulton, all these kids are really well-known prospects, and Oklahoma's proud of.
Well, last night during our interviews here on the stage, we had a guy who's a dad and a husband. He's a father. He's just a guy out here watching his kid play ball, but it's Mike Gundy. And he's also the head football coach at Oklahoma State. He's part of this same team. His kid's playing on this group that you're here with. This 12-year-old
group. His youngest boy is playing on the 12-year-old team with my youngest boy, and coincidentally, our middle kids were in that age group last year, the 14U kids. And so Mike and I, kind of before the season started last year, we said, well, let's just throw together an 11U elite so that we can go to the same tournaments, and we don't have to be in, you know, Kansas City one at the same time our other kids in Dallas, and so it's worked out.
Just throw together. This is working out okay, yeah.
Well, as you probably know, he's a pretty good recruiter, and when Mike calls a dad, they pick up the phone usually and listen to him. So
as a parent, as Mike Gundy is a parent sitting out, you know, if does he ever just sit outside and watch? I think he does, right? He sits outside and watches.
He's rarely on the field, in fact, but interesting enough, he's very much involved and engaged. But what's he like as a parent? You have to put him in his place a lot? As a parent, I think we all are evolving as parents, and you know, it's hard to be a coach and a parent at the same time. And I think as a parent, he really appreciated the fact that, me as coach, I wasn't always going to make the right move at third base, or pitching at third base, but he's we were always willing to have good conversations about it before. Who's going to pitch? What's our strategy? Like this tournament, we spent quite a bit of time because we're only carrying 9 guys, and it's a double elimination format with 3 pool games. And it's like, okay, how are we going to get through this with our pitching? And that's kind of one of the reasons the pool game that we
hold back a little bit.
Yeah, we held back a little bit. But Mike is he's watching. He's always watching. He's taking notes, either mental notes or hand notes. And then when we do a get together during the week and practice, last year he basically ran practices for the kids, and this year he's not as involved. We do have another on-field coach, Kirk Wilson, who's helping us out because I'm actually commuting back and forth from Houston to Oklahoma City, and so it was more of a logistics thing. But he's very engaged both as a parent and as a coach.
I liked last night. Coach Gundy talked a lot about even you get to these higher levels, you come to this invite only, and it is a big deal. It's a competitive, but it's also still 12-year-old kids playing ball. And he talked a lot last night about we have to make sure they're having fun, and we can't take that part of it away from them because in the end, as good as some of these guys are, and we see it every year in the high school ranks too, your odds of making much money in this game are really small still. And so what are you doing it for? And I liked how much Coach Gundy talked about that perspective of, we want to get out there and rack it up and compete, but we better be smiling and enjoying this, making sure the kid's having a good time.
Yeah, and you never know when it's going to end, and a kid may have aspirations and the talent to go a long way, but for whatever reason, an injury is one of the more common reasons, and they're done because they can no longer sustain that, and we like to keep it in the moment in terms of, this is 12-year-old baseball, we're going to go to Cooperstown, we're going to have a great time, and if we win, we're going to try to win, we're going to try to make you guys better players, but at the same time, we want you guys to have fun. This is your last 2 tournaments of being in Little League, and the memories that you have here will go, you'll keep forever of all your relationships. At the same time, you're learning so many life lessons as a baseball player, and learning how to deal with failure is a huge one. Learning how to come back, and I like Coach Garrido at the Longhorns, which was really tough living in Oklahoma, but they've accepted me so far. Coach Garrido always says it's a game of failure, but it's a game of opportunity too. And so, every time you fail, the next pitch or the next inning, you're going to have another opportunity, and so you have to capture those opportunities and focus on succeeding and feel good about that, and instead of negative reinforcing, especially 12-year-old kids, that the learnings this morning was it's a tough bracket we're in, guys. We can't, we have to make routine plays. We didn't make 2 routine plays, and we lost 3-2. So. And that's fine. That's fine. We last year at the end of Steamboat, we had the kids together, and Coach Gundy gave a great talk about, okay, you guys have grown so much and you've become better baseball players, but every single one of you guys still have 1 or 2 or 3 things you need to work on in the off season. Whether it's fielding or hitting or getting stronger or whatever it is, and in the end, it's always a game of trying to improve, because you're never going to be perfect in baseball.
Carrying 9 guys, Coach Gundy mentioned that yesterday too. It's a coach's dream when it works out, but we were talking about it. You get that pop-up in shallow left where the center fielder, left fielder, and shortstop are converging. That's 1/3 of your team all heading toward each other. That's a tight wire act you're running right there. Yeah, it actually bit us in Steamboat. We had an injury during the game, and we had to end one game with eight kids. Fortunately, we went into extra innings, and we ended up winning it. But we ended up winning that game. But also during Steamboat last year, our top 2 pitchers came up with sore arms, and we obviously we're not here to overpitch anybody and overuse anybody. And if there's ever any pain whatsoever, they're not going out there. And so. We weren't we had no idea how minor or major it was, but we certainly weren't going to compromise their long-term baseball future in terms of
of trying to win a quarterfinal or a semifinal game at Steamboat.
So on this 12-year-old team that's here, you have 9 guys. Do they all pitch?
They all pitch now.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Yeah. There are a couple guys, my youngest son included, another guy who don't see the mound very much. But for example, they threw in that pool game that we. But yeah, for the most part, all of them have pitching experience, and we try to distribute it best we can among all the kids and let them develop. So
in this College World Series here in Omaha that's going on around this Slumpbuster, who's your team here?
My team's probably going to be TCU. It's
Okay.
kind of a Big 12 guy.
Okay.
Last year we were here 2 years ago. Well, Oklahoma State was here last year, right? Yeah. 2 years ago, we really didn't have a team, but we sat in the outfield and watched Benattini play center field, and I pointed him out. I said, "Boy, you got to watch that guy. He's probably going to be playing the big leagues in the next year or two." And
yeah,
lo and behold,
there he is.
There he is.
Well, yeah. So you're coaching in Oklahoma. You commute from Houston, so you've got Texas A&M and TCU in there.
Yep.
Of course, A&M now in the SEC, and that's what Coach Gundy said too. He's going to TCU. You got to root for the conference guy at least.
Yeah.
It looks good for everybody if your conference does well. So you'll get a chance to mix a little bit of that in while you're here.
Yeah, hopefully. We play at 2:00 today. We're hoping to win and play at noon, and then go to batting practice. Go to the fan festival. We're going to hit that later.
Good.
Hopefully, let the kids see some of the batting practice, and then we're, depending on how our schedule works out, we've got 2 games Saturday and maybe a game Sunday. We're gonna try to fit at least one in.
Yeah.
So
good.
you got to do that.
Well, the Oklahoma Elite, they've got their 12-year-olds here in Omaha at the Slumpbuster, and as we've talked about and made reference to several events that your older team and now this current team have come through. You guys have made a really an impact in the brackets of the Triple Crown events, but you also we've appreciated how you guys go about your business and what you bring is sort of your piece of the culture of a tournament. Thanks for doing what you're doing.
Oh no, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I'll say one thing about Triple Crown. We obviously deal with other organizations and have tournaments, but your guys are always very professional. All your Brandon I've known for 4 or 5 years now. Always very professional and very patient, answering questions, and I cannot say that for very many other organizations. You guys are really very customer team friendly, and so that's why we keep coming back. We love Steamboat. We have hopefully 2 more years with this group to go to Steamboat. We didn't go this year because we're going to go to Cooperstown, but we didn't go to Park City. But next couple of years, we look forward to going back.
Good. Well, that's Bruce Escavida with the 12-year-old Oklahoma Elite. Good luck with your next ball game today.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.